13 years ago next week, IU co-ed Lauren Spear vanished after a night out on campus. Despite dozens of witnesses, she seemingly disappeared without a trace. Lauren's disappearance gained local, national, global attention, but remains a cold case to this day. Now, there's a new book filled with bombshells about the last people to see Lauren alive. What might have happened that night is out today, and I'm joined by the author of College Girl Missing, investigative journalist Sean Cohen, who has been on this case from the very beginning. We have 5 minutes and a lot to get through, so let's just set the stage first. You are a reporter from New York, close to Lauren's hometown. Talk to us a little bit about what new information as far as the evidence and how you found it. What did you go through to be able to write this book?
So I was here in the early days reporting on the case on the ground. A few years later, I think it was like 7 years later, I decided to revisit the case. I went and I spoke with the family and approached them about doing a much more thorough investigation of the case, revisiting the key players, and they agreed to let me into their private investigation, the files. So I went through them and read through everything that they'd gathered from the witnesses, and then I reapproached people and I identified some new witnesses. Ultimately, and coming back to Indiana, I started, while the police were still closed down, I reached out to some former investigators who were involved with the Bloomington police investigation. And one thing I learned was that Lauren, the last person she was seen in public with was Corey Rossman, a guy she'd met just a few days earlier at the Indy 500. So as they were going up the hill toward his place, he carried her part of the way, and at about 3 a.m. She was sat down on a curb, and he placed a phone call to somebody. The investigator told me that was one of the final images of them that night.
Yeah, let's stop right there because we had the picture up on screen, and some people at home know these names. They know the people that she was last seen with. She had talked to or had been with Corey Rossman, Jay Rosenbaum. Also, her boyfriend at the time had been texting her and trying to get in touch with her, according to his statements. Let's go to that part, though, where you say this new information about who Rossman was calling that night. That is brand new information that we never knew. You uncovered that, and you were able to finally find that person, and it took quite the research to actually find her. You thought it was a guy at first. Let's just don't get too much in the weeds, but when you talked to her on the phone, was she able to tell you anything about why he made that phone call that night while Lauren was still alive with him?
When I first reached out to people associated with that number, it took me a while to figure out that this girl, Brooke Bullens, was the person who received the call. Initially, I got no responses, but then I went to Massachusetts, which is where Corey was from and where this girl was living, and tried to find her. I didn't find her on one trip, and I went back again, learning where she was staying, and I approached her and I waited for several hours, and eventually we did speak.
What did she say?
Well, she was hazy about what happened at that time. She claimed that she had no real memory of that night. So we had a lot of back and forth, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Her words are very interesting. But after I spoke with her own mother reached out to me and said something very interesting as well. She said that her daughter Brooke, this is the girl, had told her that Corey had admonished her not to talk on the phone around that time because the FBI may be tapping our phone call.
What was it like to also, you talked to Corey again as well throughout this process, because you talked to everybody again. In reading the book, I haven't gotten through all of it yet. What did Corey say to you? And I understand that at some point, one of the other people asked for $100,000 to speak to you.
Jesse was hostile, and
Lauren's boyfriend.
Jesse Wolf,
Yep.
Lauren's boyfriend, was talking but not really saying anything, and demanding $100,000 to open up. Jay and Corey ultimately did speak with me, and And what was interesting was that when I finally did make a call directly to Corey after I learned his new cell phone number, he answered, and he was very aware that I had reached out to Brooke Bullins initially, and the other folks. In fact, the morning I reached out to him, I initially reached out to Jay Rosenbaum, who was the last person to report seeing Lauren, and I texted him, and he didn't get back to me. A little bit later, I reached out to Corey, and he was already aware that Jay had that I had texted Jay, so they were communicating with each other. So Corey got on the phone, and then later that same day, Jay got on the phone.
I don't want to run out of time, but I know in this book you believe that this was a botched investigation. You also want to talk a little bit too more about the family relationship that you had with Lauren's family. At first, it was kind of a hostile relationship that you had with them. They didn't trust you necessarily. They didn't want your help. How did that change that you ended up really befriending them and being able to write this book with the insight that you were able to get with all of the evidence?
Initially, when I came to Bloomington, they were wholly reliant on the police and the investigation. So as I was exposing some details about that night, about the drug use, and about Lauren's actions, what was known, they were very upset, and they shouted me down and said, leave the investigating to the police. So over time, as the investigation went cold, I maintained a relationship with them, and it grew close, and we started to really speak about our own lives. And the years later, when I did revisit them, they knew that I was the reporter who was actually getting some information out there in this kind of vacuum. So they agreed to reconsider what they previously refused.
We only have a minute left. I want to, obviously this is an opinion from you. I want, after all of this research you've done, going back through everything about the case, what do you think happened to Lauren? What does the evidence show today?
Well, here we are 13 years later, and there's not a shred of evidence that Lauren Spear ever made it out of those townhouses alive. I let the facts speak for themselves. I'm not going to draw a conclusion, but I did want to present all the information I can, and there's a lot to speak with the various players that night, see how their statements contradicted each other in some ways.
Let's start that with the facts show. The facts show that the people that were with her contradicted themselves several times, that they told different stories, correct?
A couple of them did, yes, and they contradict each other.
Okay. What else? What's the final takeaway?
The final takeaway is it boils down to whether you believe the boys, looking very deep into what they told the investigators over time, seeing what other witnesses said, and that's kind of where we are at this point, is a new set of facts that the public can look at.
Right here it is. I've gotten through 3/4 of it and couldn't barely put it down last night, wanting to see the very latest. If you would like to order Sean's book, College Girl Missing, there's a link at fox59.com. Meantime, I wanted to talk about this because Lauren's mom, Charlene Spear, posted a statement on Facebook also about your new book, saying in part this, quote, "I can't say it wasn't difficult to read because it was. Most things we knew, some things we did not. We are still fiercely protective of Lauren, not having answers, not knowing which scenario is the correct one, still waiting but no longer expecting to bring Lauren's remains home is excruciating. What I can say about Sean's efforts is that I hope it uncovers some new first-hand information, facts, not hearsay, that some people will remember and finally come forward." We'll be right back.